This is the Locked On Jets podcast here on this Saturday. I'm your host, John B. from GangGreenNation.com. If you're new to the show, this is a daily podcast covering the New York Jets with new episodes each day through the week, Monday through Friday. Yesterday, we were joined by Ian Eagle of CBS Sports. Ian gave us a comprehensive preview on the 2025 New York Jets, and there's no better person to do it because he was the man who called all Jets preseason games this year. We have a little bonus mini episode today, a discussion with Ian that involves why Jets fans might feel optimistic about the team despite 14 straight seasons missing the playoffs. What constitutes success for this team in 2025? It's not about Super Bowl or bust anymore. So what should Jets fans be looking for? Ian will preview tomorrow's game between the Jets and the Steelers. He is going to be calling it for CBS, so he'll offer his insight on what Jets fans can watch for. And yes, Ian gives us the lowdown on whether or not the CBS blazer he will wear this season has changed. Let's jump into our chat with Ian Eagle of CBS Sports. Ian, I'm going to start by asking a bit of a unique question because obviously things went very poorly for the Jets last year. I think that there's a lot of frustration in the fan base right now because of not only how everything went during the Rodgers era, but it was kind of like the culmination of 14 years where it just feels like nothing can go right for this franchise. And I feel like we kind of go through cycles where we're starting with a new regime and there's talk, be patient, everything's going to work out. We finally have the right people in place. We build up. There are big moves, whether it's Rodgers, whether it's the year they brought in Le'Veon Bell and all those big free agents. I think there's a sense in the fan base that, things just can never go right for this team. And people ask me, John, do you think they can turn it around? And my answer is yes. Now, I think they have to make some changes for, in some of the ways that they operate. But you're the guy that covers pretty much every sport. Is there anything you can say to maybe give Jets fans some hope that despite everything that's gone wrong in the last 14 years, maybe this is the right group that can get this thing going in the right direction?
Everything you've said is fair, and any Jets fan that feels that way is right to feel that way. The proof is in the pudding in professional sports, and you are what your record says you are. The fact that there are certain facts that are unavoidable, longest stretch in the NFL and longest stretch in professional sports, along with the Buffalo Sabres not making the playoffs, losing season after losing season, another change in the front office, in the coaching staff. So all of those things are real. The one piece of optimism that you can really lean on in the NFL is there are so many examples of teams that have been down and have gotten it right. And obviously, when you make wholesale changes, you change the leadership of a team, you change the culture of a team, you change the major positions of a team, you're rolling the dice. And the Jets are once again rolling the dice. There are no guarantees with any of these hires, but you get a vibe, you get a sense of who people are, what they're all about. Aaron Glenn, Darren Muji, and then the coaching staff and front office. And if you're a fan, your hope is that these are the right decision makers and the right buttons are going to be pushed, and there'll be an acceptance when a mistake is made, and we'll move on in the right time frame. That's the only thing I could say to a true blue or true green Jets fan right now is the NFL is set up for parity. And the fact that the Jets have been so bad for so long is actually an anomaly in this current setup in the National Football League.
All right. I'm sorry I'm about to do this to you, but fill in the blank. The 2025 Jets had a successful season if blank.
If there's progress, if you just feel that this team is competing hard, is in a bunch of games, wins games, close games, does it with effort, I think the fan base just needs to see that there is progress, that this is now going in the right direction. I can't say to you with a straight face that this is a playoff team because there's no sign of that right now. But if things click, if you start to see the run game really get into gear, if you start to see an aggressive, bend your ears back and get after it type of defense, then I think this season will be considered a success. Not to put a number on it, wins and losses, but you got to see more competitive. You got to see some divisional wins. You got to feel like you're gaining on the other teams. New England obviously knew they weren't headed in the right direction. That's why Mike Vrabel is there now. They feel like they've got their quarterback. They feel like they can start building around it. Obviously, we know what Buffalo is. They're still a favorite in the AFC. Miami's a tough one to really understand and gauge right now. They've had enough success that you have to at least respect that they're capable, but they haven't had nearly the success that they were hoping for at this stage. And there's a vulnerability there. So I just think if you're a Jets fan, you need to see improvement, and you need to see a different feeling around the group. That comes with wins, but it also comes with how you're performing and week to week, whether or not you're seeing the kind of effort that's required to win at this level.
This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right means cashing in. With football back, PrizePicks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. It's quick, easy, and a great way to follow along with the football. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL. It's one word with no space, LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Today's episode of Locked On Jets is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive. And that's what makes Mazda stand out. They go beyond safety, style, and performance to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. Mazda offers more than safety. It's won more 2025 IIHS Top Safety Pick awards than anyone else as of August 2025. As an athlete focuses on every detail, Mazda does the same, from metallic accents to hand-stitched Napa leather. You can feel it the moment you get behind the wheel. The smooth handling, intuitive controls, and standard all-wheel drive in every crossover SUV. It's the small details that make the big plays. And just like there's more to every player, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda. Move and be moved. Today's episode of Locked On Jets is brought to you by DoorDash. It's the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash streaks, saving more time every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. And for the Jets, Sauce Gardner has delivered a big way in his young career. He has been an all-pro first-teamer 2 of his 3 NFL seasons, and the Jets are really going to rely on him this year. If you want more on Sauce, check out our Friday episode with Ian Eagle, where he talks about how critical Sauce Gardner will be for the Jets defense in 2025. And just like Sauce Gardner delivered for the Jets, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash streaks, you can save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order today. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. Well, I would be remiss if I did not ask the next question, because for the first time in the 7 years we've done this, I believe you actually have the Jets week 1 in the game against the Steelers. Is that correct?
I do.
So
yes, I have Steelers Jets.
Could you just give us a quick perspective on what you're expecting from this game?
Yeah, going in with the same mindset that I think everybody else is going in with, because the lead story will be Aaron Rodgers and it will be Justin Fields. It's rare that you see 2 quarterbacks going against one another that played for those respective teams, but flip it from one season ago. And the drama that comes with the Rodgers situation, I know that's going to be hammered home and it's going to be talked about ad infinitum. I think once the game starts, though, that doesn't have the same kind of importance that all the buildup would necessarily make you think it would. I think you settle in to figure out what kind of team this is. Pittsburgh has made wholesale changes. They've revamped their secondary. They obviously spent a ton with DK Metcalf and paying him to be one of the best receivers in the NFL. They've changed their backfield with Jaylen Warren. And they're asking Aaron Rodgers to do it one last time. Jets fans saw it firsthand last year. He couldn't create the magic when they needed it. And what's to say that he can do it now? Different coaching, different offensive line, different skill position players. But does Aaron have one more run left in him? That is a question that I think everybody around the NFL is curious about.
All right, I am prepared to hear the collective groan of my listeners because I'm going to ask you about the topic that I think only I care about, but this is where we break the news every year. The CBS Blazer. Will there be any changes this year?
Yeah, I think you and one other person, there's a fashion advisor with CBS that we get an email every year, and he's been incredibly nice over the years. I've dealt with him. His name is Rich Valenza, and you're the only two people I think that care in the United States and maybe around the world. You might be the only two. So yes, to answer your question, I don't mean to prolong the tension. It's the same blazer. Nothing has changed. It's the electric blue that I know you love, and I think it would crush you if that was no longer the go-to. We are the only network that still rolls out the blazer with the insignia. No one else is doing it. So they're sticking by their guns, and it's a blazer yet again for CBS.
I'm happy to hear that. And what it sounds like is I need a second tradition. After we have Iron Eagle, we need to have Rich Valenza on the show every year.
He's already gotten more mention on this podcast than Mason Taylor got. I would not have possibly thought that when we began our discussion.
Well, you should have known me a little bit better. I was actually going to make a joke because I know you're going to be calling NBA games on Prime. We know I've gotten pretty good with the design on AI. So I'm happy if you want to connect me with the Amazon people. Maybe I can create a blazer for you when you call games there and for the NBA this autumn.
Yeah, it looks like we're going in the route that we see other broadcast companies go with, and that is wear whatever you want. So it doesn't look like there's going to be a Amazon Prime Video insignia just to the side of our lapel. It's going to be the Iron Eagle and Stan Van Gundy collection.
At least they have CBS. Iron Eagle, thank you so much once again. It's always great to have you on the show. I remember the first year we did this, you mentioned that you would love to make it a tradition. I think after 7 years, it is a tradition, and we always appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, my pleasure, John. All the best. Always enjoy our chats. 7 years, so tradition is upheld. Tack on another.
That is all for our mini episode today. Thank you so much again to Iron Eagle for stopping by the show. It's always great to have him. He's generous enough to stop by every year before the start of the regular season, and we always appreciate his analysis. This has been the Locked On Jets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day is our motto. If you enjoy the show, hit the subscribe button where you're watching or listening so that you'll never miss an episode. If you enjoy the show and you're listening on a podcast source, give it a 5-star review. And if you're watching on YouTube and enjoy the show, give this episode a big thumbs up. Helps us out, helps other Jets fans find the show. Enjoy the game tomorrow between the Jets and the Steelers. I'll be back after the game to break down what happened. Hopefully, we'll be breaking down the Jets' victory and a 1-0 start to 2025. Talk to you then.